In January 2025, a man stood outside Milimani Law Courts with his hands not waving to his fans or shaking hands with business partners, but begging for cash. The same man who just months earlier had posted videos of himself flying private jets, racing superbikes, and literally throwing money at his problems. Welcome to the whiplash-inducing story of Khalif Kairo, a man who built a billion-shilling empire that evaporated faster than your paycheck after rent. 1 minute he was Kenya's poster boy for success, the next he was the poster boy for fraud. I'm Victor, and today we are diving into the meteoric rise and the catastrophic crash of Kenya's most controversial entrepreneur. Buckle up, this story has more twists than Cairo had excuses. Born Joseph Khalif Woi in November 1996 in a small corner of Kawangware, Nairobi. While today's influencers were born with the silver spoons, Cairo was born with nothing but raw hustle and a mother who ran a kiosk that barely kept food on the table. By age 10, most kids are playing video games. Cairo was already managing his mother's shop. Child labor laws, more like child entrepreneur laws. But this early exposure to commerce planted seeds for his future endeavors. Well, both the legitimate and the allegedly criminal ones. A neighbor who dealt in flashy cars became Cairo's unofficial mentor. While other kids had posters of athletes on their walls, a young Cairo was obsessing over BMWs and Mercedes. The seed was not just planted, it was being watered daily with the fuel of aspiration. His education bounced between Huduma Primary, Waldorf Academy, and finally Kahuho Uhuru, where he completed his studies in 2014. Not exactly Harvard Business School, but then again, Harvard doesn't teach this kind of business Cairo would eventually perfect. From classroom to Carlot, Cairo was about to get an education no school could provide. And trust me, this curriculum included lessons in hustling that would make even the shadiest used car salesman take notes. Fresh out of high school with nothing but ambition and a sharp tongue, Cairo tried to break into car sales. But there was one tiny problem. Nobody takes seriously a teenager who can't even legally drink trying to sell luxury cars. Rejection after rejection hit him until Ocean Cross Valley took a chance on the 18-year-old boy as a sales executive. For 2 years, Cairo absorbed everything: customer psychology, negotiation tactics, pricing strategies. This was not just a job, it was his informal MBA in hustling. In 2017, Cairo made the kind of decision that separates entrepreneurs from employees. He quit to start his own business. He had no showroom, no cars, no company, and approximately 0 shillings in capital. What he did have was a Facebook page and audacity in industrial quantities. Creating a page called CIF Cairo, he became the middleman nobody asked for, but everyone somehow needed. Finding cars online, marking them up, and connecting buyers to sellers. He was essentially a human version of Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, but with a profit margin. When OLX was still a thing in Kenya, Cairo leveraged it into building a following. Sales weren't just exactly pouring in, but inquiries confirmed what is suspected in an industry tracked in Stone Age. A digital showroom was revolutionary. Well, revolutionary might be generous for what was essentially a guy with a smartphone and good lighting, but still, while most of us were still using social media to stock exes and post memes, Cairo was building an empire, one Facebook post at a time. But even digital hustlers need real-world connections, and Cairo was about to meet the mentor who would launch him into the stratosphere of success before he crashed and burned spectacularly. Cairo's entrepreneurial glow-up began when he met GC and Purity from Urban Drive. Jesse introduced him to the lucrative world of car importation. Rebranding to Imports by Khairo, our protagonist accelerated from digital middleman to actual importer. His social media presence grew faster than government excuses after a failed project. But there's only so far one man can go alone, even a man with Khairo's seemingly limitless self-belief. In 2019, he partnered with Clement Victor and Ibrahim Wangi Karanja under IBK brand. According to Khairo, this was an equal partnership where he ran operations, hiring staff, choosing the prestigious Diamond Plaza location, and most importantly, controlling the bank accounts as a sole signatory. But like most stories Khairo told, this one had alternative versions. Reports suggested that he was merely the charismatic frontman, while Clement and Ibrahim were the ones actually funding the operation. Initially, the partnership worked like a dream, but then came the inevitable clash of egos. Khairo, drunk on his glowing fame, demanded larger slice of the profit pie. His partners, understandably, told him where he could stick those demands. Eventually, they did what any reasonable business partner would do, dealing with an increasingly problematic personality. They demoted him. By 2022, the once mighty CEO was reduced to making YouTube reviews and handling customer service, while new employees treated him like yesterday's trending hashtag. The final humiliation? Being kicked out of every company he claimed to have founded. Getting fired from your own company is the kind of plot twist that either ends your story or begins your villain origin tale. For Khairo, it was definitely the latter. With the spotlight of controversy shining brightly on him, our protagonist was about to perform his greatest magic trick yet, turning social media outrage into an even bigger business empire. When life gives you lemons, most people make lemonade. When life gave Khairo a public hosting, he made a multi-million-shilling empire. With social media buzzing about IBK drama, Khairo did what any self-respecting modern entrepreneur would do, leveraging the attention. With help from his mentor Jesse, he launched Kai and Khairo, a name that will soon be synonymous with both luxury and alleged fraud. But wait, there's drama. Allegations surfaced that the brand was initially a joint venture with a woman called Caroline. Screenshots floating around the Kenyan internet suggested she was forced out faster than politicians forgetting their campaign promises. Let's just say Khairo's version of events often had a flexible relationship with reality. Regardless of its controversial birth, Kai and Khairo took off like a rocket strapped on another rocket. His social media presence evolved from business content to a 360-degree spectacular luxury cars, family moments, adrenaline-packed hobbies like skydiving and shooting. He was no longer portraying himself as the relatable hustler, he was now untouchable tycoon looking down from his private jet. And if you dare criticize him, prepare for a public evisceration. Khairo went from inspirational to insufferable, mocking critics and boasting that his son's motorbike could feed their entire families for a year. Humility had left the chart and toxic arrogance had entered. But here's the genius part. He knew exactly what he was doing. In a podcast that now seems like foreshadowing, Khairo admitted that every time he trended, they sold cars. Positive or negative publicity, it didn't matter. Controversy converted to cash. His marketing strategies were as bold as his personality. Like the time he asked his followers to write romantic poems praising his girlfriend, with the winner getting a car. Was it ridiculous? Yes. Did it work? Also yes. The ultimate power move, opening a branch at Diamond Plaza, the very location where IBK had kicked him out. It wasn't just a business decision, it was a statement written in the language of petty that translates across all cultures. They say pride comes before the fall. In Khairo's case, pride came with private jets, superbikes, and luxury cars. But while he was busy building his image as Kenya's answer to Tony Stark, the cracks in his empire were beginning to show. And those cracks, they were about to become Kenyans. By early 2024, Cairo was flying higher than ever, literally and figuratively. His expansion plans required 200 million shillings, money he didn't have but pretended he did. Like any good businessman facing a cash flow problem, he sought loans after loans. And like a good businessman, he allegedly started using new clients' money to fulfill old orders, the business equivalent of digging one hole to fill another. Cairo even opened an office in Westlands for his new venture, Jetman Global, focusing on aircraft sales and leasing. When you are already struggling to deliver cars, the logical next step is obviously to start selling planes. Then came the Gen Z protest against the financial bill, and Cairo saw an opportunity to be more than a businessman. He could be a voice for the people. He rallied Kenyans against the bill with passionate posts and calls to action. But then, as quickly as it became a revolutionary, his stance shifted. One day, he was urging people to march. The next, he was calling for retreat. People felt betrayed, and accusations flew that he had been bought off faster than concert tickets. By mid-2024, Kenya's social media landscape was shifting. Real issues like government accountability, abductions, and economic hardships took center stage. In this new environment, Cairo's polarizing tweets and luxury lifestyle posts were losing their grips on public attention. His engagement dropped faster than Bitcoin after a tweet by Elon Musk, and with declining social relevance came declining sales. That is when real trouble started brewing. Like a pot of bad decisions set to boil over, the scandals began to surface. If Cairo's rise was a masterclass in personal branding, then his fall is about to become a study in how not to run a business. As complaints piled up faster than his Instagram likes, Kenya was about to witness a collapse so spectacular it could make the Titanic look like a minor boating incident. December 2024 marked the beginning of the end. Clients started coming forward with the accusations that would even make the most shameless scammer blush. Cairo had allegedly taken full payments for vehicles that never materialized. On December 3rd, he was arrested after a client lost 26 million shillings in a botched Range Rover deal. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, and this Titanic was heading straight for it. The floodgates opened with complaints that painted a pattern clearer than Cairo's love for attention. Jeff Manan paid 2.1 million shillings for a Honda Vezel hybrid. Result? No car, no refund, no explanation. That didn't sound like it was written by a fiction author on a deadline. Donna Okot forked over 2.9 million for a Subaru Outback and received exactly nothing in return, except a valuable life lesson about trust. One unfortunate client bought a Volvo V40, only for it to be repossessed due to an undisclosed outstanding loan. Another paid 2.2 million shillings for a BMW X1 that proved to be more fictional than Cairo's business ethics. With over 10 similar complaints, the pattern was impossible to ignore. This was not bad business. It had all the hallmarks of a calculated fraud. Cairo's response? Every big entrepreneur faces litigation, right? Because Steve Jobs and Elon Musk definitely had clients accusing them of straight up stealing millions of shillings. His legal troubles multiplied faster than rabbits in springtime. January 11th, 2025, arrested again over Volvo repossession scandal. January 28th, rearrested for a Volkswagen Tiguan scam. By late January, all his business branches had shut down. The Kenya Revenue Authority added insults to injury, charging him with tax evasions and money laundering. Because if you are going down, might as well collect all the criminal allegations like they are Pokemon cards. From private jets to public begging, Cairo's fall wasn't just steep, it was vertical. The man who once mocked people for asking money online was about to give us the plot twist nobody saw coming. Well, nobody except anyone familiar with the concept of karma. The same fingers that had typed scathing responses to critics were now typing out PayPal numbers for donations. The The same man who had mocked people for asking for money online was now virtually standing on a digital street corner with a metaphorical tin cup. His explanation? Unknown forces were out to destroy him. Because obviously, when you are facing multiple fraud charges, the problem is not your actions, it's mysterious, invisible enemies conspiring against your success. Critics called it poetic justice, karma, or simply the inevitable conclusion to a business model that resembled a Ponzi scheme more than a legitimate enterprise. As of this video's release, Kai and Khairo remains closed. The empire that was supposedly worth billions of shillings, now worth less than the Instagram filters Khairo used to enhance his lifestyle posts. In a move that suggests either admirable resilience or breathtaking audacity, Khairo is attempting a comeback with a digital marketplace for car buyers and sellers, charging 5,000 shillings per listing. It's like watching someone who burned down a restaurant trying to sell matches to the same customers. Will people trust him again? In the car importation business, reputation is not just important, it is everything. With his credibility in tatters and legal troubles mounting, bouncing back won't just be difficult. It will be a feat requiring more suspension of disbelief than your average superhero movie. Khairo's story is not just about one man's rise and fall. It's a masterclass in dangers of confusing social media success with business acumen, of prioritizing image over integrity, and of building a brand on controversy rather than consistency. In an age where we are bombarded with carefully selected success stories, Khairo's cautionary tale reminds us to look behind the curtain of social media theatrics. Those private jets and luxury cars, they might just be props in an elaborate show that's one missed payment away from closing night. So, what happens next for Khalif Kairo? Will he rise from the ashes like a phoenix? Or is it the final chapter in his entrepreneurial story? Only time will tell. If you found this deep dive into one of Kenya's most controversial business figures fascinating, hit the like button harder than Khairo's reputation hit rock bottom. Subscribe for more unfiltered stories that peel back the glossy Instagram filters to reveal the messy reality underneath. And let me know in the comments, do you think Khairo deserves a second chance? Or has the ship sailed, crashed and sunk to the bottom of the ocean? Until next time, remember, not all that glitters on social media is gold. Sometimes it's just really good lighting and a borrowed watch.